Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the most important recording projects ever! Yeah, and this one is the complete Hindemith orchestral works on CPO. And this is going to be a three-part series. Aren't you excited? Seriously. Hindemith lived from 1895 to 1963. He was the subject of my first master's thesis. That's why he's important. I'm just kidding. Seriously. One of the great 20th century composers. His reputation right now is in total eclipse. And I don't understand why. For much of the first half of the 20th century and into that, he was the great German composer. He really was. And everyone felt that he had somehow reconciled, which was his life's work, the needs of being contemporary with also being listenable, more or less, most of the time. And he really did. And he wrote a slew of masterpieces in every conceivable medium, chamber music and orchestral works, and a big, big pile of orchestral works. I mean, it should be played very, very frequently. It used to be very popular. His violin concerto was really popular with Isaac Stern and David Oistrakh, and all these famous violinists played it. His symphony, Matthias der Mahler, still gets played, and it gets hauled out once in a while. We're having a cat issue. Come here. Come on, Mildred. Cool it. And, certain other works, the Symphonic Metamorphosis of Themes by Weber, but his oeuvre, let's call it, his Werke, have been so little explored by serious musicians. And I just don't get it, because the stuff it's good music. It's really good music. Aesthetically speaking, he was basically a neoclassicist. He did not subscribe to the theory of romantic gushing and emotional fulsomeness for the most part, but that didn't stop him from writing really delightful music. There is a certain, rhythmic stiffness and German clunkiness, which is actually kind of amiable in a good performance. It's just great stuff. And CPO recorded all of the orchestral music under Werner Andreas Albert. Very good performances for the most part, really, really solid. And it's still available. They've kept it available. I mean, for decades and decades. They deserve all the credit they can get for the fact that this stuff exists. And I just need to promote it. I mean, I do, and we need to listen to it. So let's do volume 1, which has 6 CDs. And let's see what's in it. There's so much stuff you probably haven't heard, and so this is really fun. So we begin with Orchestral Works 1, Amor and Psyche, Overture. When was the last time you listened to that? From 1943. The Ballet Nobilissima Visioni, one of his most popular works. The Philharmonisches Concert from 1932, which he wrote for the Berlin Philharmonic. It's one of those spiky neoclassical things. It's a theme and variations. That's what it is. And then the Symphonic Metamorphosis of Themes by Weber. Now, these are with the Queensland Symphony Orchestra, Brisbane, from Australia. And these are all good, solid orchestras. I mean, there are better performances of all the most popular works, but it's okay. I mean, within the context of this series, everything has its place, and it comes off pretty well. Orchestral Works Volume 2, the Lustige Sinfonietta, Opus 4. I remember when this was first recorded, it was out on Vergo, which was, Vergo is the record label of Hindemith's publisher, Schott. They're related. And so they did some very interesting, strange Hindemith, including the 3 songs and some crazy other things, and the crazy operas, Sancta Susanna, and Nushi, and, Murder, the Hope of Women. I mean, some really unusual works. But this is his earliest big orchestral work. It's from 1916. It's a half hour long of big, sort of humorous, gushing, almost still romantic music. Brahms is an influence, perhaps, but there's still lots more stuff going on than that. Then we've got Ragtime, the Wohltempiert, the well-tempered ragtime. This is the fugue from the C major prelude and fugue from Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier. Da-da-dum, bum-bum, ba-da-da-da-dum, da-da-dum, bum. It's a C minor one, sorry. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I think it's that one. Anyway, it's that one. And he does very strange things to it and tries to jazzify it in his own humorous way. And then the Symphonic Dances of 1937. this is a masterpiece that no one knows. Did you know Hindemith wrote symphonic dances? Okay, maybe they're not like toe-tapping dances, but this is effectively a 4-movement symphony, and it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So, yeah, that's lots of fun. Then we have the Noosh Nooshi dances. This is a Burmese marionette opera with vaguely Asian and exotic things happening and all kinds of weird stuff going on. It's expressionist. And there's some little dances from it, and they're on here. Then we have the concert music for strings and brass, Opus 50, which is part of the series of works that Hindemith simply called concert music, because they're indescribable in any other way. One of his most popular pieces, Bernstein did a great recording of it, a couple times actually, I think, and William Steinberg did the fabulous one with the Boston Symphony, and Ormandy did it marvelously in Philadelphia. Really, I mean, Hindemith got more attention, I think, in the United States at some point, because the U.S. was always looking for not avant-garde things. After Europe had been subsumed by the Darmstadt insanity after World War II, Hindemith was sort of like a beacon of hope, and he got a lot of attention in the 50s and 60s over here. But that's all faded away, and it's terrible. It's such a shame. And his symphony, The Harmony of the World, based on Kepler. Oh, is that fun? I mean, it begins with this huge crash, cymbal roll, and bass drum, and the brass going, ya da 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 da. Oh, see, I can hum it. If I can hum it or sing it, you can listen to it. It's great. The ending is glorious. I mean, it's just this, bells and tam-tam and cymbals and bass drum and things going off. It's a passacaglia, a ground bass with things on top. And oh, my, what fun. Volume 4, the Overture to News of the Day. Oh, this is a contemporary opera that really upset Hitler. This is what got Hindemith in trouble with the Nazis. It started with a woman taking a bath, and it was considered shocking. It was sort of like, Lady Macbeth of Bitsensk by Shostakovich upsetting Stalin. Dictators do not like humor. They don't like sardonicism. They don't like things that might be morally reprobate. You know what I mean? And then we have the Symphony for Concert Band, one of the all-time classics of the band repertoire. That's never faded away. I mean, you can't play band music without doing the Hindemith Symphony, a brilliant work. And the Symphony in E-flat, which is one of the great 20th century symphonies. Leonard Bernstein made the best recording of it. And in a time when people just don't know it. Oh, my God, it's wonderful. The opening movement sounds like Star Wars. It's fabulous, but it's got, more dissonant and whatnot. Dum-ba-da-dum-ba, da-da-da-da-dum-ba, dum-da-da-da-ba, bum-ba-da-da-ba-da-da. I can sing the whole thing. It's just amazing. Amazing. The second movement, Funeral March, is one of the most beautiful, solemn pieces in the 20th century repertoire. I mean, listen to the damn thing. It's just called Symphony in E-flat. Maybe because it doesn't have a title. It doesn't get as much attention as it deserves, but wow. Volume 5, the prelude to his Requiem, When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloomed, which is a lovely work. The Symphony Mathis der Mahler, here it is. And the Sinfonia Serena, which has a movement based on a little wind march by Beethoven, and then some offstage string things having a chat with each other. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful work. Da 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 da. See, it's all perfectly listenable. Hindemith had a harmonic system that was based on the interval of the fourth rather than the major triad, the interval of the third. So his melodies all begin kind of like they sound like normal melodies, and they go off in strange places, and they come back, and end with great consonance and vigor. The joke in musical circles back when he was, still very popular, when he was teaching at Yale, for example, and whatnot, was, you start with a C major chord, do whatever you damn well please, and end with a C major chord, and that's Hindemith. It's not entirely true, but there's some element of truth to it. Then we have Volume 6, his Concerto for Orchestra of 1925, which is only 4 movements, 12 minutes long. It's one of those vigorous, neoclassical, quasi-not tonal things that just has lots and lots of movement. And it's very exciting. Then we have his Sinfonietta in E from 1949-50, which is a lovely little piece in E major. And the Pittsburgh Symphony, which he wrote for Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's got Pittsburgh as a grand old town in the finale. Really energetic and enjoyable piece. And then his march over the old Schweitzer tone, the old Swiss melody thing. And that's volume 6, and we're just getting started. Really, really important and wonderful stuff. And I do hope that you will give yourself a chance. In the next volume, we get like concertos and things, to get to know some of this music. It's important 20th century music. It's at least as good as Shostakovich and those people who people listen to all the time. I think Hindemith doesn't get as much attention because it doesn't have that emotional angst, the expressionist nightmare music, although he writes some of that too, but mostly in his operatic output. Still, a great composer who wrote fantastic music, and this series is really, really, really important. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.